Hey everyone, I'm Margot. We are here with some friends. We're gonna go around and introduce ourselves from your left to right, hopefully. Start with you.
Chelsea McKinney.
Bethany Shadburn.
Jamie Hagia.
I'm Valvo Roll, I forgot who that was. Brenda Chavez.
Awesome everyone. So I usually do a mobility or workout session. Today I am at Torrance Training Lab with Jamie, and we did a little workout earlier, so we're just gonna go around and have some questions for the ladies. Some of these athletes I've competed with over the years through CrossFit games, some I've known through years through CrossFit or just training, and some are relatively newer friends, which I love, but I just wanna go around and ask them certain questions. But before we get started, I'm gonna start with who you are, what your background is, and what you've accomplished kind of in your life and something you've learned through that time. We'll start with you, Chelsea.
Okay, that's a lot.
You can be as short as you want. So, hey, I'm Chelsea, I did X, Y, Z, and I'm proud of X, Y accomplishment.
Okay, I'm Chelsea. I started gymnastics when I was super young, did cheerleading through college, and then found CrossFit after cheerleading. And I've been doing that for about 13 years now. Competed for 6 at regionals and went to the games on a team once. And now my focus is more on like calisthenics, gymnastics, and balancing, and sharing that with all of my athletes.
Which we did a session earlier, and smokes my flexibility. Yeah, definitely need some more flexibility. Cool, love it.
I'm Bethany. I've been to the CrossFit Games, well, been 5 times-ish, and we can put a little asterisk mark on the 5th round because COVID, but at least I qualified for it. I was a gymnast growing up, so I did that before, and then a hodgepodge of things before CrossFit, bodybuilding, triathlons, half marathons, you name it, I probably did it. And I think the biggest thing that I've learned, especially through CrossFit, is I think it's really easy to self-sabotage and put too much on your plate. And that's one thing that I really did at the beginning of my career, and one thing that I'm trying to find more balance in now and slow down. And it's tough, it's really hard, but I think when we stop making excuses of why we can't do something, then I think it puts things in perspective a little bit more. And so I was actually able to have a really great season last year once I stopped self-sabotaging myself by putting too much on my plate.
That's awesome. Awesome, love it.
I'm Jamie. I started playing basketball at the age of 4. I always loved it, but I'm 5'3" and Japanese American, so it's not your typical basketball player. Everyone said I was too short, I wasn't good enough, I'd never played Division I. I didn't listen, and I made it, and I got 1 scholarship to the University of Southern California. Played all 4 years there, went to the NCAA tournament, Brenda went too, and on a different team. And I graduated with a degree in communication, and then went on to play professionally basketball in Greece, a little bit in Spain. I tried out for the WNBA. When I didn't make it, I found CrossFit, got into that, started competing. I was getting close every year, 2013 close, 2014 close. I tore my Achilles. I came back and made it as an individual in 2016, and then again in 2018 on a team. And I own this gym, Torrance Training Lab, with my sister Lexi. So female business owners, gym owners, yes, strong women. And I think, and I have an online program called the Jam Method. I think what I have learned so much over the years and what CrossFit has done for me was, I'm gonna brag about Val right now. I got into this sport and I found myself for some reason in the final heat with these amazing women like Val, my first regionals, and Lindsay Valenzuela, Chris Clever, Becca Voigt, all these women, and then and I didn't know what I was doing there. But after I was walking at the beach or jogging, and I ran into Val, and she lives close by down the street, or like 40, 30, 20 minutes. Anyways, and she was like somewhere close by, and she was like, hey, you did so great. I'd love to help you out if you ever want to get together and train. So I think one thing I've learned is like, it doesn't matter what you've done or like what you're accomplishing. I think people's heart and they're like true. And Margot, the same. Sorry, I have to brag about this too. Margot, I just knew through regionals. Okay, we never met. And when I tore my Achilles, Margot was like, hey, I'm in LA, can I come by and bring you a care package? And so she drove to my house and brought me, like I remember it to this day, like a card and movie tickets and like snacks, and she was like, this is just to keep going, you're amazing, and like I know it's hard, I'm like getting chills, like, but it's just good-hearted people. And like at the end of the day, yes, all these women have gone to the games and they're amazing athletes, but I remember them for who they are and what they've done in their characters. So, and so that's why we have all these amazing friendships, and thank you to everybody.
I love it. That's awesome.
I'm next, I'm Valerie. I'm an elementary school teacher, a mom, and a CrossFitter. And I've been doing CrossFit since 2009. I've been to 6 CrossFit games. And I guess my biggest takeaway in sport or just in life is finding the fun. And the fun through relationships and people that challenge you and force you out of your comfort zone. Chelsea does to me, and Jamie does to me, and pushes us to be better than we were yesterday, better than we, were last year or whatever. And as long as it's fun, it's not working out, it's playing, it's playtime. And I think that's what motivates us to grow. Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that.
Well, first off, I want to say thank you for having all of us here. It's an honor to be here in front of all of you ladies. It's great. All amazing women. Also a key supporter of women's businesses and small businesses in LA. I started off playing basketball. Made it to D1 school, university, played a little bit of overseas in New Zealand, semi-pro. Then I decided to compete for the games. I went to the games in 2013 team. That's where I kind of got And then decided, you know what, I want to focus on my longevity, my health, my fitness, continue to move. And then I just focused a little bit on my career, which I've been doing for about 15 years, anything from special ops to just regular arrests out in the field of crazy shit. But I'm blessed to be here and to be able to just move and try and do healthy.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Well, I just want to highlight these amazing women I've been blessed to be able to connect with, whether it's through CrossFit, whether it's through friendships, and to bring us all here together, which is amazing. So my whole thing is work hard, wind down, right? You work on the gym, career, school, family. At the end of the day, you have a glass or bottle, depending on the type of day it is. But I do preach moderation and balance, earn your grapes. But I also talk about celebrating successes and embracing the struggles. So I would just love to go around and just have you guys pick maybe one struggle that was one of the biggest struggles you've had. There can be many, but one that maybe sticks out the most to you. What was the struggle and maybe what you learned from that? And then what was one of the biggest successes you've had and what did you learn from that? And it doesn't have to be anything elaborate, but if there's something that moves you, that takes something out of you or kind of reminds you of why you started or what you're doing, then use that as like motivation, emphasis. And I just want to share this with the community because I feel like we all have points where we are struggling. Not every time that we showcase ourselves is going to be like sunshine and rainbows, even though we default to that. But it's showcasing the hard times because that's how we get better and moving forward. So we'll start with you again, Chelsea. So one of your biggest struggles and maybe one of your biggest successes.
Okay, I feel like mine kind of goes together. When I had my son, I was doing CrossFit for so long, and you have to, through pregnancy and postpartum, everything changes, and right when you figure out how to make something work, it changes again, and so you just kind of have to go with the flow, and remember that it's temporary, and that you're going to get through it, and you have the support of your community, which is amazing. But I think the biggest takeaway I've gotten out of that is you go through these phases in your life, and you don't have to be this gymnast forever, this CrossFitter forever. You can follow wherever your journey takes you, your path takes you, because maybe you focus on this for a little while and you're really into it, and then you progress into something a little bit different, and just don't be afraid to keep learning. I feel like when you are I know everything, then you've lost. You're just you've completely lost it. So always striving to learn new things and challenge yourself, and no matter what phase of life you're in, knowing that you can get through it, and it may be really hard, but usually the things that are the hardest to get through are the most rewarding in the long run.
I echo that for sure. That was awesome. Thank you for sharing.
I think I have a couple of things. I think it kind of bounces off of your stuff, but I think personal growth is really important, and I didn't realize that until the last couple of years of my life. And just kind of making it kind of far in CrossFit, or even just getting 8th at the CrossFit Games a couple of years ago, I just realized that that doesn't bring satisfaction and happiness into your life. And so it's relationships, like we were talking about, and just continued growth in like your character, like we just talked about too. I think really, really important how you react and respond in situations, whether it goes right for you or wrong for you. So that's been really, really important for me the last couple of years, especially kind of going through a slump that you guys kind of followed my journey with a lot of back issues and not being able to compete for 2 years now in a row at the CrossFit Games, and just realizing that there is more to life. There is a lot more to life. And it's your character that takes you a lot farther in life than just being an athlete or putting yourself like in a box. So that's been a big thing. And then I think body image, I think is really hard on women, especially if you're an athlete at a really young age and kind of growing into a woman or a gymnast or anything like that. And so that's one thing that I've really struggled with is body image and just trying to find self-love. I think that's really, really important, and it's hard. And I think it's like an up and down journey, and it continues to be that way. But you have to figure out a way to find self-love for yourself with all this. So, and that you can't just, you're not just an athlete.
Yeah.
You're more than that. So,
Self-love is important in all aspects.
it's hard.
That's
It's really
great.
hard.
Jamie?
Ditto. Yeah, just I mean piggybacking. It's crazy. I think we could do a whole session on body image for women. And
This
you
will be
know,
the part 1 of a multiple
yeah,
series.
I know, right? I think all of us, like, you have like this image that you didn't hold, or, you know, and in your head of what you want to be or what you should look like and all these things. And so I've definitely have struggled with that. I was the CrossFit Games athlete who didn't look like all the other ones with crazy ripped abs, and it made me think like I really had to get to a place. Yeah, like, and I was like, just because I don't look like them and my abs don't look like them, that doesn't mean I don't belong here. And I'm not like qualified or as athletic as them or anything. Maybe not as fit, but anyways. But yeah, no, I'm learning balance, and I'm learning the same thing, like self-love and things like that. I think tearing my Achilles was a big wake-up call for me. It like stopped me in my tracks. I couldn't walk, the ability to walk. So I think I put all these things so far ahead of me where I was like, whoa, like I really lost sight of what was important, you know what I mean? And for me, like that was like my faith, and I got way far away from it, and you know, just wanting all these things, and I was like, wow, like I really got to come back to just like wanting to be able to, you know, get like my life back on track. So injuries, body image, that kind of stuff, and yeah, I do think like challenging and growing, and I've like have transitioned to the CrossFit media side of things, so I'm on the other side now instead of competing, and it scares the shit out of me. Like you know what I mean? And I was like, good, if this scares me, like this is good, I'm growing, and I'm getting out of my comfort zone, and even if you make mistakes, it doesn't matter. Keep going, like keep trying, and like believing in yourself. Yeah, believing in yourself is like the hardest thing to do, but you have to do it.
Yeah,
So.
I agree. That's definitely, I think, the underlying message for a lot of people, like believe in yourself. If you don't, like, just continue to have faith that you will eventually get there.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right, ditto about transitioning, ditto about body image, ditto about doing things that make you uncomfortable so that you can grow. Because the second we get complacent, we're done growing.
Yeah.
My biggest moment was a huge struggle and a huge life lesson all at the same time. So 2015 regionals, the first 2 events came out on Friday, and I felt like they should have been great events for me, and I just did terribly, like really bad, and spent Friday night crying, and Saturday, was Saturday the rope climb one? Saturday we were like standing there at ropes, and Jamie was next to me, and I was at the ropes, and we looked at each other like, what are we doing? Why are we doing this? And I remember looking from the stands like my family's miserable. My little girl doesn't want to be here. She got headphones on. It's loud. It's annoying. My husband, like, you know, I put in so much to the training and to everything else, and like working so hard, like emotionally, spiritually, like everything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but why? Like, I feel miserable. I don't even want to climb this rope. And then I was like, all these people I'm letting down. Like all these people who believed in me and put time into me and sponsored me and cheered me on, and now I suck in front of everybody, but I suck because I have no fire right now.
You have no desire.
I have no fire, no desire. I'm like, what's wrong with me? So a lot of tears, a lot of crying, like ready to quit. I'm like, I told my family, like, can you just drive me home? I just want to quit. I just want to. So Sunday morning, or maybe it's Saturday, I can't, whatever the days are, it doesn't matter. My dad pulls me aside and he's like, I just want to talk with you. And you know, my dad's late 60s at this point. He's like, let's go for a jog. He'd just eaten breakfast. He probably wants to hurl as we're jogging. He's like, I just want you to think about one thing, Val. I just want you to think about when you go back to tell the story later. What story do you want to tell? Not that I quit. So we gotta run back, and I'm like, okay, coach, I'm going. He's like, well, your heat starts in like 5 minutes.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
And so the goal was, I sort of told my coach, I said, my only goal in every workout from here on out, I have to smile. Because there's no point in doing this if I'm not enjoying it. Like if I'm not doing this because I love it and because it's fun, like of course it's gonna be hard. We're competing. But I have to find a moment to smile in every workout. And if I do that, I win.
Yeah, nice.
100%.
And I worked my way from being in the last heat to Sunday. I didn't qualify, but I made it to the final heat. I made it to the top heat on day Sunday, top 10. And that was my win, but it only worked because I shifted my mindset, I shifted my attitude, and I decided to find the fun in it. And once I was having fun again, it all worked.
Yeah.
It all worked. It doesn't mean you win,
No,
but
yeah.
it doesn't mean you win events. It means you win something for yourself.
You win in a different version or different way.
Right.
And I think is what you said is like you get to tell that story. Like no one's gonna tell the story for you, and they may have a story to tell, but it's not your story, and that's what's most important is how you share your story.
Right.
And that's what makes it impactful. Like that gave me like goosebumps when you said that.
Yeah, because when Ben is like, "Mommy, did you win?" Well, I didn't like come in first win, but I won. I won in my heart. I won because I set a goal and I achieved it.
Yeah.
I won because I overcame myself
That's
and my
amazing.
badass.
And that's
okay.
it is. It's a mindset for sure. I love it. Thank you for sharing that, Brenda.
I think one of my biggest struggles was the same. Everything you guys have said, I can relate to, but also choosing career paths. And realistically putting myself out there and thinking, am I really going to be a professional athlete or longevity, right? Like I said earlier, or is my career going to be what's going to carry me in the long run? And am I going to be able, can I still, not be an athlete, pro athlete, but still be able to move and maybe experience, maybe coaching within my work, which is I've been able to do. So exactly what you said, it's finding that happiness, with what you do. Because it got to a point when I was training, I was like, fuck this. It hurts. It hurts. And I feel like it's not fun anymore. Like I just want to be happy and enjoy what I do, And so yeah, that was one of my struggles. I think now I just turned 40.
What?
I know,
It's
right?
young and
What?
I was like,
And I'm happy that I'm able to, do all that. So, yeah.
That's beautiful. Well, I appreciate you all sharing. I would love to dive deeper, and I think this is definitely going to have to be a series that we'll have to do more of. But I think just being able to come together and share experiences, I think it's something that I've learned is no one's going to tell our story. No one's going to be able to come and say, hey, I want to highlight you, or I want to showcase you. It's like, no, let's highlight and showcase each other and show what we've all learned and share that with others out there, because I think there's so much that we can all benefit. And the storytelling is something that I'm trying to get better at, is storytelling my life and storytelling the community. There's so many people out there that want to come together and want to learn and have education and inspiration. And I think that motivation comes from that community effort of people coming together. So I've had an amazing time with you guys. I had so much fun working out lifting, but this was a blast too. Noted my overhead mobility and my gymnastics definitely needs improvement, especially against that wall. But I appreciate you guys all tuning in. Please, I will put everyone's handles and on Instagram in the comments below, so you guys have any questions or any information you're looking for, check out below. I will have all their Instagrams, and if you have any interest in additional follow-ups or Q&As like this, let me know, and I'll share that with you guys. So thank you guys all for tuning in. Thank you guys all for coming and hanging out.
get some wine.
Yes, wine time now. Have a great Friday and weekend.
That was my takeaway for today.